What's up, everybody? Joshua here with Roth to talk about the exciting new Spider-Man news. Sony is making an animated Spider-Man movie.
That's true, and just a minute ago, you did your version of the voice, and I elect you for to be cast as the voice.
I don't remember the voice. What did I say?
I don't remember. You quipped. Spider-Man quips, you quipped in a Spider-Man-like voice.
I'll try and make it happen before we finish. But what's your reaction to this news? Animated Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a couple of reactions. First of all, we should say that it's Chris Miller and Phil Lord, who we adore, who are going to be at the helm of this movie. So they did 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. They did the Lego movie.
Yes.
You love them. You know them from all of these things. So my immediate reaction to almost anything that they do is I trust that they can make it work.
Heck yeah,
and make it really funny. So that sounds interesting. There's a couple of business reasons for why I think it did happen, but we can dig into that in a minute. What did you think?
I think that's cool. That's great, and that it's not connected to the MCU. This won't tie into like the existing or the upcoming Spider-Man movie or like the Avengers movies or anything. It's just going to be its own isolated, assumingly just fun Spider-Man movie that's maybe a little less serious. Not trying to build like an interconnected universe. It's just having fun, which I think is great. Like a lot of the Lego video games and stuff have been doing that. And like I should obviously mention, Lego Batman is getting its own movie, and that's spinning out of a Lord and Miller movie, the Lego movie. So I feel like
it's not gonna. I mean, that's through Warner Brothers. The Spider-Man movie will be through Sony.
Yeah. So which is also kind of weird, but yeah. So I feel like the studios they know they have the big action like tentpole movies, the blockbusters that are live action, but I feel like they also want to capitalize this for like the younger market as well. To get them twice.
I mean, I think the interesting thing with the Lego Batman is, I love him, but it's
no parents,
no darkness. but that's the thing is like it's not Batman. It's like a parody of Batman in cartoon form, so animated form. So that's kind of like it's like a whole different animal. And what's interesting with the Spider-Man movie is that, you know, we talked to Kevin Feige, who is the head of Marvel Studios, about the live-action Spider-Man depiction. One of the things that he's really stressed is that he feels like the humor of the character really hasn't been captured yet, and that's one of the things that they want to do in the live-action movie. Now, we know if you have Chris Miller and Phil Lord attached to this project, it's going to be a comedy. So the question then becomes, what kind of a comedy is it going to be? What is the tone of this animated Spider-Man going to be versus the live-action Spider-Man? Is it going to go as meta and wacky as Lego movie? I mean, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That's not the tone I get. I think it'll just be like I think it'll be like The Incredibles almost, to where it's just like a really fun, heart-filled, like superhero adventure. And then I think that's really what we need from Spider-Man. From the Amazing Spider-Man movies, he got really bogged down in all this drama and stuff. That's not really who Spider-Man is.
Why all the drama, Spidey?
The more serious Spider-Man gets, the more kind of ridiculous it gets, and it points out sort of how weird it is. But the more you just sort of go with it and have fun, the better it works. And you know, I think back to like my childhood and the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. That was like one of my favorite cartoons I've ever seen. And so to get that for like a new generation, I think is great. And although I would not want it to be too self-aware and fourth wall breaking, because the current Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that's on TV right now is actually a little annoying, I mean, to put it mildly. So I wouldn't want them to go too much into it. I would just say do a great Spider-Man story that's fun for everybody.
I think our producer Kyle pointed this out, though, that the interesting thing is you cannot really have. Okay, so Deadpool is obviously going to break the fourth wall, and that's its own very own hard R. Very different thing. But you can't really have the live action Spider-Man do that, sort of like turn to camera and break the fourth wall and make little quips, if he's also going to show up in Avengers movies, because that's just not the structure of those movies, and it would feel really like discongruent. Anyway, whatever, you get the idea. But in the animated film, to a degree that Joshua is pleased with, that can happen. And it's certainly a thing that Miller and Lord are really good at.
You must please me with your fourth wall breaking antics.
Joshua, do it the exact level that he would like. But they're really good at that. You know, they're very great at sort of finding that balance. And I think that they could do it with this movie. Now let's talk about, does this open up the door to multiple animated superhero movies? I'll give you my take. No.
You just asked yourself a question and answered it?
I don't need you here, Joshua.
Glad I showed up.
And matching too. You know, I don't.
Oh, we are.
We are.
I feel like we could also be servers at like a restaurant. To go get our other jobs. Yeah. Anyways.
True. The IGN really doesn't pay that much. So we have to get on track. I do not think that necessarily that will happen. It could. If this is a huge success, what does Hollywood like to do?
Make more of it.
Yeah, more, and copy it and emulate it. But the reason that I think this is happening in the first place, you know, like Marvel Studios, so that's Marvel Disney, has wanted to maintain such control and make sure everything was unified, whether it's the Netflix series, you know, or ABC with S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatever else is coming there, and the cinematic universe, everything is interconnected. So to have a movie that is an animated movie that is not connected, I think might make them uncomfortable right now. But Sony's in a very different position, right? Because they need money.
Yeah.
Miller and Lord have been hit makers for them and others recently. They have basically limited options at this point with probably their whole slate that they had been planning with the Spider-Man universe now defunct and dead in the water. They've got the live action Spider-Man. They need more Spider-Man, and this is an option for them. But if it works, I could see other studios copying them.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and I feel like animation sort of gets like a bad rap, you know what I mean? Like people don't see it for like what it can do and the awesome stories it can tell. No one but Pixar, really. And I think another studio that would be great.
Frozen argues with
No,
you.
sure, of course, they're hits. But I mean for like superhero stuff. Another property I think that would really benefit of this would be actually Fantastic Four, which we already kind of got in The Incredibles. So to get a true Fantastic Four movie, I think it would have to be animated at this point. But the last thoughts on the Spidey animated movie?
I'm looking forward to seeing it. If you could pick one other character that you would like to get an animated beside, well, I guess you just did the Fantastic
Four, yeah, and we get a real Doctor Doom and all his armor. That'd be so cool. But yeah, so those are our thoughts on the news that we're getting an animated Spider-Man movie from the guys who made Lego Movie. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and for all things Spider-Man, keep it right here on IGN.
Do the voice.
We're gonna get a sequel!